All right, so our last lesson for unit on integers is the function tables, which will be a review. So we can graphically represent any mathematical functions. So the first thing we do is we have our function here. This is our function, y equals 3x minus 2. This is our function table. So what we do is we're going to convert the values from the function table to coordinates. Then we're going to plot them on the grid here and then connect the points. All right, so here, when we have integers, we use 0, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, and then use negative 1 and negative 2. So therefore you get a good mix of exponents. So let's start with the first one. We know that x is positive 3, so we're substituting 3 in there for x. So showing that here, it becomes 3 times 3 minus 2, which gives me 7. So therefore, my first point here would be 3, 7. Good. Next, we have our x value is 2, so we're substituting it in there in our equation. So it becomes 3 times 2 minus 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 minus 2, which gives me 4. So our next point would be at 2, 4. Next, our x value is 1. So 3 times 1 minus 2. 3 times 1 is 3, minus 2 gives me 1. So therefore, my next point here is 1, 1. Sorry, I just have a question here. All right, so next we're at 0. So y is equal to 3 times 0 minus 2. 3 times 0 is 0, and then 0 minus 2 is minus 2, or negative 2. So our point would be 0, negative 2 there. All right, so our next one, we get into our negative values for x. So here, y is equal to 3 times negative 1, and then we're subtracting the 2. So 3 times negative 1, that's negative 3. Negative 3 minus 2 gives me negative 5. All right, so our value here is negative 1, negative 5. That is our coordinate. Okay, and our last one for negative 2, 3 times negative 2, then we're subtracting the 2. So 3 times negative 2, that is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 2 gives me negative 8. All right, so our value here is negative 2, negative 8. That's our coordinate. All right, so next we just have to plot our points. So our first point was positive 3, positive 7 right there. Next it is positive 2, positive 4. So right here. Our next point is 1, 1. Next we have 0, negative 2. Next is negative 1, negative 5. And last one is negative 2, negative 8. All right, so there's our points. And then lastly, you can just connect them with a line like so. All right, so we have here our function is y equals 3x plus 0. So we just have to complete our function table to get our coordinates. So just doing our first one here, our x value is negative 1. So it'd be 3 times negative 1 plus 0. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. And we're not adding anything, so that's our value for y. And so therefore our coordinate would be negative 1, negative 3. All right, so when we have 0 next, it'd be 3 times 0. 3 times 0 plus 0. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. So our y value is 0. So our coordinate is 0, 0. And our last one, when we have a positive 1, we have y equals 3 times 1 plus 0. 3 plus 0 is just 3. So our last coordinate for this one is just 1, 3. So those are our coordinates. So let's just quickly plot those. So first one is at -1, -3. So right here. Next is at 0, 0. Right there. And then +1, +3. Right there. And I'll just join. So, and that's it. All right, so our word problem here. Elaine is in the business of repairing home computers. She charges a base fee of $45 for each visit and then $25 per hour for her labor. The total cost, which is C of X, which is also our Y. Okay, so I'm just going to put here that it's equal to our Y as we're used to. So the total cost for a home visit and X hours of labor is modeled by the function rule. C of X equals 45 plus 25X, right? Because $45 is what her base fee is just for the visit. Then she charges $25 per hour for each visit. So it goes by hours. So 45 plus 25X. All right, so our first one here, if there's 0 hours, right, then it's 25 times 0 is just 0, so it would just be 45. All right, so just showing that here. So y is equal to 45 plus 25 times 0, okay, which just gives me 45. Next, if she worked for 1 hour, that would be 45 plus 25 times 1. So 25 times 1 is 25 plus 45. What's 25 plus 45? That is 70. So if she stays for 1 hour, she's getting $70. So that was 70. And if she works for 2 hours, she's getting her $45 base fee, but she's getting 25 times 2 as well. All right, so 25 times 2, which is 50. 50 plus the 45, which is 95. So now she's got $95 if she works 2 hours. And if she works for 3 hours, so 45 plus 25 times 3. So 25 times 3, that's 75, plus 45, which is 120. There you go. All right, so our first point is at 0, 45. So I'm just going to write it on this side here. 0, 45, 170, 295, and 3, 120. Okay, so at 0, it's 45. So right there, right about there. At 1, it was 70. So right here. 2 at 95. So here. And 3 is at 120. So right there. All right, and then I can connect that as well. All right, and it can continue, right? Because if she works more hours, then we can easily see if she worked 4, 5, 6 hours, how much she would make.